I'm Glenn Tubman, former film critic for the Toledo Daily Ledger. Today, I'm taking a look back at Forrest Gump, the 1994 Academy Award-winning film directed by Robert Zemeckis. Starring Tom Hanks as the titular Forrest Gump, this film is a sweeping, heartwarming journey through some of the most iconic moments in American history, all seen through the eyes of a man with a simple, kind heart. But as I sat down to revisit this beloved classic, I found myself deeply concerned, not with the film's portrayal of historical events or the performances, but with a more troubling possibility. Does Forrest Gump have AIDS? Now, I realize this may sound like an odd or inappropriate question to raise, but let's think about it. Toward the end of the film, Forrest is reunited with his childhood love, Jenny, played by Robin Wright, who has been absent for long stretches of his life, living a tumultuous and self-destructive lifestyle. When she finally returns, she reveals that she is dying from an unspecified illness, one that the movie doesn't clearly identify, but which is heavily implied to be HIV/AIDS. The timeline matches up. This is the early 1980s, right in the middle of the AIDS epidemic, and Jenny has lived a life that could have exposed her to the virus. The question that has haunted me since the credits rolled is this: if Jenny contracted HIV before their reunion, is there a chance that Forrest, in his innocence and devotion, has also been exposed to the virus? Think about it. Forrest and Jenny do sleep together the night she returns to his life. Now, knowing what we know about HIV transmission, the possibility of Forrest being infected is very real. The film, of course, doesn't address this directly, choosing instead to focus on the emotional reconciliation between Forrest and Jenny and the heartwarming introduction of their son. But as beautiful as those moments are, they leave me deeply unsettled. Does Forrest even know about the risk he's facing? Does anyone around him know? Or has the film, like so many characters in it, simply brushed aside the danger in favor of keeping the story uplifting? Look, I get that Forrest Gump is meant to be a feel-good movie about resilience and love, but as someone watching this with fresh eyes, it's hard to ignore the elephant in the room. Jenny has lived a life marked by drug use, which in the 1980s was a significant risk factor for contracting HIV. If Forrest has in fact contracted the virus from her, what does that mean for him and Forrest Jr.? The film doesn't even hint at this possibility, but I can't help but worry about Forrest's future beyond the final scene. The more I think about it, the more this issue casts a shadow over the entire film. The iconic moments are all wonderful and heartwarming, but in the back of my mind, all I can think is, has anyone talked to Forrest about getting tested? We've all come to love Forrest for his simplicity, his charm, and his unwavering belief in the goodness of people. But his childlike innocence, while endearing, also leaves him vulnerable to the realities of the world. Realities that the film tends to gloss over. The movie would have us believe that Forrest's love for Jenny and his eventual role as a father represents the culmination of his journey. But if Forrest is now facing the possibility of living with a terminal illness, unaware and untreated, that changes everything. And let's not forget Forrest Jr. If Jenny was infected before she gave birth, what are the chances that their son has been exposed as well? The film, in its attempt to wrap everything up in a tidy bow of sentimentality, leaves these critical questions unanswered, and I'm left wondering if the filmmakers ever considered the implications of Jenny's illness beyond her own death. It's hard to fully embrace the warm, nostalgic glow of the final scenes when the possibility of a much darker future for Forrest and his son looms over them. Anyway, I'm Glenn Tubman, and I'll see you at the cinema.